Kicker Comp C 10-inch, 300 RMS max wattage. This is the amplifier I went with. So it's a 660 watt RMS 5-channel amp. So it's supposed to be 300 watts, 2 ohms for the subwoofer, and then I believe 75 watts, 4 ohms RMS for the door speaker. So I've got 4. And of course my wiring kit, extra RCAs, and that's what we're going to be doing. What's up, you guys? So we ended up doing a sound system on the truck. I already had the door speakers, but I just had them hooked up to my aftermarket head unit. So I have a Kenwood aftermarket head unit, and we ended up putting an amp and a sub onto the truck as well. And now my door speakers are amplified as well. So before I just had my door speakers, they're 6.5s, so 4 6.5 door speakers, and they were just wired up to the radio, or to the aftermarket radio itself. And boy, you guys, if you guys are into the car audio, you know that it's not really a whole lot of power to it. And then once you really bring the volume up, it gets a little distorted and the sound isn't that good. So with the amp, it amplifies the sound, it gives it more power, and it makes it louder as well. Okay, so now that we have a subwoofer, it's going to be playing those lower frequencies, and so your door speakers are going to be playing those higher frequencies. So pretty much your door speakers are going to be playing vocals and instruments, and your subwoofer is going to be playing like your bass notes. That way you don't put a whole lot of stress on your door speakers, and you let them do what they need to do, and your subwoofer takes care of the rest. So we went with the Kicker 660 watt 5-channel amplifier. Now pretty much a channel means one speaker. That's all it really means. There's going to be a lot of discussions, and there's a whole lot of different ways. To make it real simple though, one channel means one speaker. So we've got 5 channels, we've got 4 door speakers, so we've got all the door speakers, and then the 5th channel is actually your subwoofer channel. So I wired up my amp with front driver side, front passenger side, rear driver side, and then rear passenger side. And then of course the subwoofer, it's got its own amp, and it's separate. So if you guys see the amplifier itself, you've got channels 1 and 2 on your amp 1, channels 3 and 4 on amp 2, and then channel 5 is your sub amp. And it says it on the amp itself, it's gonna say amp 1, amp 2, and then sub. So like I said, it's not that hard. It just seems like it's a lot of stuff, but once you hear it from somebody, or you start reading about it, you're gonna understand what I'm saying. So pretty much those 660 watts is distributed among all of your door speakers. Each door speaker is rated at 100 watts RMS. So your door speaker can handle 100 continuous watts of power. Like all the time, it's gonna be able to handle 100 watts of power. And then they have what they call peak power, but we don't really look into peak power that much. All we're really focused on is RMS, which is what I'm saying, like the constant power all the time. So for this particular amp that I got, the Kicker amp, it runs 65 watts RMS to each door speaker because it's 4 ohm. So what that means is there's 65 watts of power running through each door speaker simultaneously and all the time. If you're running a 4 ohm sub, it'll shoot up to 150 watts RMS, so 150 watts of continuous power. Or in my case, I ended up going with a Kicker Comp C, but it's a 2 ohm. So for 2 ohm, you can run up to 300 watts RMS, which is what my amplifier is rated at. So my door speakers are running 65 watts of RMS power for 4 ohms, and then my subwoofer is running 300 watts of continuous power for 2 ohms. So that's my setup here. Now I have my Kenwood head unit, but that doesn't shoot any power or anything like that. All it's doing is sending the audio signal to the amp. The amp amplifies the signal, giving it power, and then shoots it to my door speakers. So it's not that difficult, but I wanted to explain it to you guys because when I was doing research on this myself, at first I was scared to even try this. And then once I started doing research, I couldn't really find the video explaining exactly all of that information. A lot of them just kind of assume you already have a little bit of knowledge on it, which is fine. You know, there's people that they already know what they're doing. But for people like me that we have no idea what's going on, it was a little bit hard to understand. And this is why I'm making this video here, is because I want you guys to be able to understand it just like I had to research and figure it out myself. But I want you guys to be able to understand it, because maybe there's somebody, one of you guys maybe out there, or one of you girls out there, maybe you're trying to figure out how to, you know, install like a simple sub and amp, or like a door speaker or something, you know, like you're trying to figure this out, but you really don't have any idea what's going on. So pretty much when you're looking at amps or when you're looking at door speakers, always look for the rated RMS wattage, because that's what's important. Don't really look at peak that much. It's all about RMS, or continuous power. Okay, you guys, so I wanted to explain something to you guys really quickly. Pretty much what I'm trying to explain to you guys is, on the amp itself, you can see we've got the ground, the REM, which is the remote wire, the one that whenever you hook it up to the radio and the radio turns on, it turns on your amplifier. And then the plus 12V is your power source. So that ground wire, you're gonna hook it up to any bare metal on your truck, and that's gonna be the ground. The small REM, or the remote wire, is a blue wire. That one's gonna run all the way up to your aftermarket stereo, or if you have a regular one, I'm not sure where it goes on your factory stereo, but on the aftermarket stereo, there's on the wiring harness, there's a bunch of wires on there, but there's one that's like a light blue color or similar color to that remote wire. It should say it on there. If not, it should be like a light blue or bluish color wire. And every time your stereo turns on, that gives power to that wire, which runs to your amplifier, turning on your amplifier, or letting your amplifier know to turn on. And then your plus 12, that's the wire that runs from your battery all the way to your amplifier. So that's going to be the longest wire on here. Now what you want to do is run the remote wire on the opposite side of your power wire. Actually, you're supposed to run RCAs and remote wire on the opposite side of wherever you run this red wire, so make sure you do that as well. So for me, I ran my remote wire and my RCAs on the passenger side because the battery is on the driver's side. So I ran the power wire, this red one, I ran it on the driver's side. Now you can see all these wires that I have over here. Like I said, it's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see on there it says amp 1 and it says bridge and all that. But pretty much you have a positive and a negative. So you have your front driver on the top, and then next to it is your front passenger, and then at the bottom you have your rear driver and then your rear passenger sides. And then the clear looking wires, those are for your sub, as you can see on there. So you have one positive and one negative, so one on top, one on bottom. You can see those running to the subwoofer itself. So right there. So each set of blue wires or door speaker wires that I have, they're ran to each door speaker. That's how you hook those up. Okay, so on the back of your radio, you're gonna have 3 sets of RCA cables that you can put on there. So you're gonna have white and red. I believe so you're gonna have 3 sets of wires on the back as well. So you run top, bottom, and then sub. So that's how you do that. Okay, y'all, so I'm kind of in a dilemma here on the door. So I'm trying to push it through that grommet there and run it through the door, but I ran into a problem. So this thing here, hold on. Okay, so this thing here has a connection that runs, this connection runs right there. So my issue is that wire can't be pushed through here freely like the front ones. So now what I'm having to do is grab the wire, and what I did here, look for an empty holes in there. You can see the top of the screwdriver. So I'm looking for 2 empty holes, which I found 2 at the top here. And instead of drilling through it, I just ran a really small flathead screwdriver through it, and then kind of forced it in there, make the hole bigger. You can see that in there. So that way I can run this wire through there, and I'm gonna have to separate it as well, but that way I can run the wire through each one of those holes, and then pretty much try to run it past the connectors. And after doing that, we can bypass that area and go through here, and then run my cables down through there. Okay, now that I got it done, got your cables running through there. They run through here and they come out through there and into that connection there. And then this one, I'm just gonna run it down through there, and then run it through here. So that's how you do that. Okay, you guys, so it's time for a little sample, and I already have a sample of before, which I'm gonna play here.
Somos chidos, perro, bien tranquilos, perro. Disfrutamos con la flota entre los cerros. Somos chidos, perro, bien tranquilos, perro. Vamos a andar relax, pero si le buscan fierro. Yo nunca empiezo la bronca, pero siempre las chismes no. Y lo de las lenguas yo no vivo. Lo que opino de su envidia pa' mí es. Cada vez que me critican se me ocurre una canción, un nuevo flow y otra razón. Lo sigo pa' que guachen porque el babo es el papá de los perritos. 7 discos y que siguen tratando de apagarnos con un verso y un corito medio loco, tentando y inventando pendejadas. No sé qué será el pendejo que les cree tanta cago a carcajadas cada que los entrevistan porque.
And now I'm gonna play a sample after with the amp installed, and let's put the same song and.
Disfrutamos andar relax, pero si le buscan fierro. Yo nunca empiezo critican, se me ocurre una canción, un nuevo flow y otra razón. Pa' que guachen porque el babo es el papá de los perritos. 7 discos y contando, tratando de apagarnos con un verso y un corito medio blanco. Por mí sigan y pendejadas. No sé qué será el pendejo que les cree tanta mamada. Yo me cago a cabezar del fundillo, tienen que hablar de. Somos chidos, perro, bien tranquilos. Chidos, perro, bien tranquilos, perro. Disfrutamos porque somos ya de veras y ustedes son ya mentiras. Nos hicieron.
Yeah, so that's a pretty crazy copyrighted free song. I have real music as well. I'm trying to not get copyrighted, but this was a copyright free song, and it really had a lot of bass too. So hopefully this kind of shows you or gives you an idea of what a 10-inch subwoofer does. If you get a 12, I'm pretty sure it'll shake everything in the truck worse. But if you don't want that much, if you're just looking for something, you know, simple, something discreet, something that you don't have a big box that's like all over the truck or on the seats and you can't, you know, do all that. If you want something that you can still be usable, you can still hide it, it's not showing off to the outside like this. When you turn it on and you put it on blast with the doors closed and everything, you can kind of hear the music, but you can't really hear the bass outside, but you can hear it inside really well. So that's why I like this, because with this setup that I have, it sounds really good inside. It bangs really hard inside. You could feel it in your chest, like you could seriously feel it in your chest, but it's not crazy to where people know that you have it and then you run the risk of somebody trying to steal it. So that was my main objective with this sound system, and it turned out pretty well. It's also the first sound system that I do have, the one that I did install by myself, which I'm really proud of, and overall it was a really good purchase. So hopefully this helped you guys out. If you do end up deciding to go with something similar, let me know down in the comments. Okay, you guys, so I forgot to record an outro, but pretty much I hope this video helped you guys to understand a little bit what I'm talking about as far as a sound system. So I hope you guys got some kind of knowledge from the amplifier, from the door speakers, from the subwoofer. I hope you guys managed to perceive with headphones, of course. If you don't have headphones, use headphones so that you can actually hear how the sound system sounds from before and after. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So if you did, go ahead and please give it a like, comment on the video. If you want to say anything or have suggestions or whatever you might want to say, leave it down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we are going to keep uploading more videos. And go look at my other channels as well. I've got a cooking channel and I've got a gaming channel, so go subscribe to those as well. Links are down in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and with that, we're done, we're good, we're out of here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.